Hello, beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza, your host here at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. My guest today is Karys Ann. She is a law of attraction and empowerment coach. She is dedicated to guiding women towards discovering their true passions and unlocking their true potential. And what better than diving into this space right here at the beginning of the new year so that you can get all of your dreams and all of your visions already set for this new year and begin manifesting. Welcome, Karys Ann. It's so great to have you here. I'm so excited.
So excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And so late where you are. Early where I am, late where you are.
Yes, what time is it over there?
It's actually midday here in
And it's
Sydney.
9 p.m. here in the East Coast. So love the internet that we're able to just connect wherever we are in the world.
Isn't it the best? I love it. Like I've connected with so many people from so many different countries.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's just the best. I love it.
Yes, I love it. So many people are kind of like afraid or pulling away from AI, and I just feel that it's just an extension to the internet that has given us the opportunity to connect from home and all over the world, really.
Yeah, I agree.
So
So
tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's just get right to it. Before you had your awakening.
Okay, so I probably take you back about 5 years ago, I'd say. That was kind of when my journey began. I was living in Wales. Yeah, that's where I'm from in the UK. If nobody knows where that is, lots of people don't know. So South Wales, I was living with my husband. We just got married a couple of years prior, and I had a job in government. I was working this, 9 to 5. I was actually traveling an hour and a half to get to work every day in England, and basically working about 60 hours a week in work. Then I would just go out, come home, and that was my life really. I never really had any aspirations or yeah, I just thought that's what life was going to be, just that continuous cycle of going to work, coming home, really not feeling fulfilled. Um, and to be honest, at that stage, I was really self-conscious. I definitely was a bit of a shell of myself, like compared to who I am now. I was not comfortable in my body at all. I would always talk really badly about my body. I would have very negative self-talk and be, even though on the outside I always seemed like a happy person, I was always internally stressed. Like I had a million things going on at once. My brain would never stop. I had trouble sleeping. So yeah, I was just kind of in this place that I didn't know anything outside of that existed, if you know what I mean. And then yeah, the bit that kind of changed it all for me was I went to this dance fitness class
Mhm.
called Turned Up Fitness, and when I went there for the first time, it kind of just unlocked this thing in me. And so yeah, from that, like a whole unraveling of development happened. And I won't, in case you have any more questions on that, I won't go into it in too much detail just yet. But um, yeah, it kind of taught me all about the world of self-development, like the fact that meditation even existed. I didn't even know that was a thing. I was
Uh-huh.
so unaware of anything outside of my little continuous Groundhog Day bubble.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
was just wanted to just go back to what you're saying. I was working 60 hours a week. That's a lot of hours and an hour and a half
Yeah.
travel each time. I remember I was living in Long Island in New York, and I had a job in New York City, and I also had to take, like, it was also an hour and a half with getting to the train, and then walking back
Mhm.
home. And I remember that, and I remember like, what's the point? And then I don't know if you've ever been to New York City or anyone who's been,
Yeah.
but like getting out of the train, everybody will go out. and everybody would walk in the same direction. And I remember feeling like we're like cattle. It's like cattle moving in the same direction. Like you can't even go back if you wanted to because the whole mess. And I remember having this awareness, like we're just like cattle, like just going to a place, coming back, and it's right.
Yeah, crazy. Like when you actually stop and recognize what's going on around you, you're like, is this
Yeah.
how life should be?
But I'm actually really, really interested also in like in your dance. What kind of dance was it that opened you up like that? Like I've never heard
Hmm.
that before. Like,
Yeah, I know. You would never think. So I suppose I'd always struggled with like consistency with exercising for years. Like I'd never found hated going to the gym, never liked running, anything really. I
mhm,
didn't enjoy typical forms of exercise. Um, but I've always danced from a young age. Like I studied musical theatre in school. I was always on stage as a kid and I loved that. But there was like a time where my confidence got knocked and then I was kind of just like went into a shell a bit. Um, but this class, I walked in and all the lights were off. There was just disco lights on in the background, and the music was everything that I loved when I was younger. So all R&B, hip hop, pop music by Beyonce, or like Beyonce songs. I love Beyonce, like, and it was just that only time. This class is called Turned Up Fitness, and it's basically a dance fitness program, a bit like Zumba in the structure, but more aimed towards female empowerment and making you feel confident and sexy in your body. Like they were getting me to touch my body, and I'd never done that in a nice way
mhm,
at all. But also it was so fast paced and so energetic and so high energy that I got to this place where for once I wasn't in my head and I was just felt totally present. And even though I'd struggled a lot with like perfectionism for years as well, like wanting to do everything perfect, this made me feel actually free for the first time, I'd say.
mhm.
Um, Free and empowered is what I
Wow.
got from that first session. And there was something in me that instantly knew that I had to teach this. Like I was, and I'd never felt like I could never imagine myself in the front of a class, no way. Like, but I was like, I need this in my life. Like this is just unlocked something in me and I need to teach this to other people. So
Wow.
yeah, I signed up to become an instructor like maybe 4 months later after my
Uh-huh.
first class. Um, and by that time, we'd actually decided, we'd recognized that the life we were living there was not what we wanted. We were like, surely there's got to be more to life than this. Going to work, coming home, going out, go, getting back into that same routine. So my husband and I had decided to make the move to Australia. So I trained to become an instructor and said to the owner of the company, would you like I could take this out to Australia for you. Would you like? And she was like, yeah, I've been manifesting this for ages. And I was like,
What?
manifest? What's that? What even is that? I didn't even know anything about it, to be honest, at the time. So um yeah, it just kind of me doing that training. It was in October 2019 that I did the training. And it's a 2 day weekend, like really full on dancing, but really pushing you out of every version of your comfort zone that you could imagine. Like getting you to pull all these facial expressions, move with such power and clarity, like that I'd never done before. And also taught about self-development and law of attraction and manifesting and affirmations and all of these things. I was like, what is this? I have no idea what this is. Meditation, like the owner really is passionate about those things. And so, yeah, that kind of not only unlocked a bit of a power inside me, but also like a passion for not only dance, which I know I'd had for years, but in self-development and law of attraction, particularly, really sparked my interest. And I thought, if I can just change my thoughts, I could change my life. I was like, really? It could be that easy?
Wow.
And
So
I
you
think so.
hadn't you were not aware of the secret when it came out, when it first came out?
No, no. I honestly, where I'm from, in Wales is a really small valley town that everybody is just in their little bubble. We don't think anything exists out of that space, really. It's very close knit. Everybody knows everybody's business. Um, and yeah, you think that's all life is, I suppose. And so self-development in where I'm from, it probably is starting to be a bit now because that dance class is grown in that area as well. Is definitely like promoting that. But other than that, this very still unknown territory for such a small town, I would say.
Amazing. Okay, so you trained, you took your class to Australia and then you started teaching? How did you
Yeah,
start that?
well, I wish it was that easy. When I
Okay.
arrived in Australia, 2 weeks later, the borders closed for COVID. So I was kind of trapped in Australia with a plan to, get these dance classes up and teaching and making all of these women feel empowered. But COVID hit, but I thought I'm not going to let that stop me. So I actually spent the time when I first arrived. My husband had a full-time job. I wasn't working for a bit, and I spent basically the whole of the first lockdown just dancing, learning all of these routines. And for the first time in forever, I learned to be alone with myself and to actually get to know myself, get to know what I liked, get to know like actually feel comfortable going out and even just getting a coffee by myself. Like that would have scared the hell out of me before. Just I could never go in a cafe and drink a coffee or sit down and have food by myself. I was very much dependent on other people, I think, for a lot of my life. And especially like I basically doted on my husband for years. I was just the wife. I would plan my life around his. So yeah, when I came to Australia, I spent that time dancing, getting to know myself, really developing a deep love for myself, for my body, and getting into meditation regularly, clearing my mind. I couldn't believe the difference in the overthinking, the thoughts, to having just a space where I felt a bit of clarity for the first time in what felt like forever. Um, and yeah, I actually started teaching classes through like Instagram and Facebook Lives. So I was connecting with people all over the world, teaching dance classes online to them. Um, and yeah, that was great actually. That was so much fun connecting. Like I had
Wow.
people dancing with me in Dubai, in Africa, in the UK and Australia, all in at the same time. So that was a wonderful part of lockdown. I actually one of the reasons why I really enjoyed COVID was it forced me to spend time by myself, get to know myself, get to love myself for who I truly was, and actually start finding out what I wanted from life.
That's amazing. And wow, I really love your story because so many people went down and got very depressed during COVID, and you heard so many negative things. And I have seen so many positive things from it too. And it's kind of difficult to speak about that when when to someone who didn't have that experience. But
Yeah.
it really goes down to what you do with it, right?
Yes.
What did you
And also
choose
how
to
you
do?
perceive that period. Like even if that
Yeah.
was a down period for you, like if you can look back now and what actually like what did you learn from that? There's always a lesson in everything, I think, regardless of whether it's highs or lows. The lessons are like even better when they're coming from the lows, I find, and that's where growth happens. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people did lose family members or friends. I
Mm.
mean, there was a lot of people that they lost. And I know for those people, it's really difficult to see like, well, what good came out of that? Because, they're not there. Um, but there's so much growth because there's, I feel, in death of something, like the death of the freedom when you had to like be in lockdown and everything, or wear a mask or all these things.
Yeah.
Um, Something is born. Like there's always
Yes.
something new that's born that allows us to do something. Oh,
Yeah, I agree.
Didn't think we were gonna
always.
go that way, but
I know. I love when these things just take their own direction.
yeah. So you started teaching the dance or the type of class that you went originally to take that opened you up, and did you find that people started opening up kind of like you as well through your teaching?
Mm, yeah, honestly. So, um, I not only trained as an instructor in Wales, but I also trained to train other people to be instructors as well. So I did my
Uh-huh.
master training at the same time. So that when I got to Australia, I could actually train other people to become instructors. So I actually met like my bestest friends through the class was like the number one thing because obviously when you move abroad, it's hard to, you got to start again, right? You got to
Yeah.
build a whole new community of friends, of people. And so when COVID finally lifted and I went to I did my first class, which was actually as we're recording this 4 years ago to almost to the date that I did
Wow.
my first class in. I know. I did my first class in Sydney and I honestly met my best friends from there and honestly saw them growing. I had people coming to me saying, and one of the girls who I then later trained to become an instructor came to me and said that I actually suffered really badly with social anxiety before I came to your class. She'd been working like remotely on a farm for years when she came to Australia, and she'd lived in Sydney for not so long, but she didn't really know many people, and she would never really go to events by herself or feel comfortable talking in front of people. And she said, I feel like a completely different person just from this class and this like powerful energy that you get from feeling all of these like-minded women around you in a judgment-free space and a place for you to really express yourself like you've never expressed yourself before and feel so powerful in your body and forget about everything else for an hour. Like, just from that, she then later trained to become an instructor. She just had a baby now, so she's on a bit of a hiatus. I never know how to say that word.
Yeah, me
Hiatus.
too. Hiatus.
Anyway, from teaching, but I know she can't wait to come back and like, yeah, I've actually trained up instructors now in Perth in Australia, in New Zealand, in Melbourne, which is one of the other states, and we've got a couple of other instructors in Sydney. So, um, like it's not only spreading the love to the people that come to class and you literally see them move from the back to the front, like feeling all confident and sexy in themselves. And they, from that, then want to pass that on to another load of women, which I think is so, yeah, so special and so powerful.
Do you train in person or do you also do trainings online?
I do also do trainings online, yeah. So especially during the COVID period, I did it and where we had instructors overseas, like in New Zealand. So that was done online as well as the one in Perth. But yeah, it's a mixture really of both in Sydney and in Perth. But one of the instructors I'm actually training at the end of this month, she came to one class with me and she said, messaged me after that one class and said, I feel like that unlocked something inside me. Can you tell me more about becoming an instructor? And so she's just arrived to Australia as well. And these people are not even dancers
Hmm.
normally. It's just like women who love to dance, love to move, and actually have felt something like powerful for the first time and really want to express themselves. And like they're like, it's like unlocked something within them. And it's amazing to see.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a couple of questions that are coming up. Number one, do you also teach online still? Do you
No, I
no?
actually don't teach online still. I
Okay. So
know.
you teach, but
Yeah,
you do train online sometimes.
yeah. So I do my obviously I've got the dancing, but then I've got a coaching business as well. So I do my sessions with my clients coaching online.
Hmm.
And that does involve some dance and movement. So
Okay.
yes, combining the mindset with the body because in my eyes, you can't do one without the other. Like if
Hmm.
you want to be healed, it needs to take a holistic approach and you need to be able to really get out of your head and feel into your body and into your intuition and really get guidance from the wholeness that is you.
Yeah, let's hold that for a second. I want to just
Yeah.
mention there's a second question that had come over. Um, so I know I used to be a teacher, and I know of so many teenagers who really shut down and got depressed and literally scared to go out because of COVID, and they're still struggling through that. And as you're speaking, I'm feeling like this would be a great thing for them to try. Perhaps this would unlock whatever locked them in so that they
Mm,
can go back to society, because so many kids are struggling with the mental health after
yeah.
COVID, and these are like mostly like teenagers and going on to college age. So that was the second question. That, and this is why I was asking you if you teach online, because it feels
Mm.
like wow, like like so many kids could benefit from this, um, if that was available as well,
Yeah. So actually, now that I'm actually thinking about it, so I personally don't teach online, but we
right?
have got an on-demand platform. It's
Ah,
called Turned Up Fitness On Demand. And so you get access to tons of videos that you can guide yourself through workouts online. Like you've got full 1 hour sessions, or you've got individual tutorials of the routines to break down the movements and really get into them. So yeah, there is online, not necessarily live in-person
uh-huh.
classes, but we've got an on-demand platform where you can go at any time, as well as like yoga, meditation, other fitness workouts. There's a holistic platform that covers everything from nutrition to those sassy, empowering dance fitness workouts.
Amazing. I think that would be like a really good tool to have to
Mm.
anyone who's listening who has a teenager or young adult at home who's struggling to like definitely go look into that as a tool, because you never know, where you can take
Yeah.
them.
And I think that age is so crucial, like you said,
Yeah.
like coming out from school, going into college age, that's the time when I lost my confidence the most, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say. And it's like you leave school, everything you've ever known, and you're going into a new like adulthood, and you're like, what even is this? And I feel like
Very.
it's so important to get connected to your body in that sense
Mm-hmm.
and just remember who you are really inside. And I feel like that's what it does. It kind of unlocks that younger part of you that when you were like 6 years old, dancing in your living room, performing in front of your parents, like it
Yeah.
unlocks that part of you. So
Without being self-conscious, like you're just being
yeah,
silly. Yeah.
just think
Yeah.
you're the best singer in the world when your voice is
Look at
all of
me.
that
Look at
stuff.
me.
Yeah, that it gives you that energy again, and I love it.
Awesome. Okay, so now going back to your coaching business, you said something really important, which is that you believe that the mind has to be connected to the body and the movement that you do.
Yeah,
And I feel that that's something that really needs to be spoken more about, because there's
yeah.
so many people who are into meditating and spirituality, and they're just working to be out there somewhere, and they're not
Mm.
grounding in the body. And so it takes so much longer. And I know this personally because I went through that. I was like trying to leave my body and be somewhere out there, and I was not grounding at all.
Mm.
And it was taking forever. And then one of my energy healers that I work with was like, you actually need to be in your body to heal. And I was like,
But I find out here in the universe. Isn't that where the healing happens?
yeah, so tell us more about that, about how you found that connection and how you're using that in your coaching business to help people.
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you asked about that because originally when I started my coaching, like that had come from, it was the dance that unlocked this drive for self-improvement with me. And then from that, when I moved to Australia, I ended up in a dead like a job, the same government job that I was in the UK. And it was honestly draining the life out of me. One of my colleagues actually said, this job has sucked the life out of you. Like she actually said those words to me. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, so other people are noticing
That's
this.
huge.
And
That's
I was
huge. It's not
like,
just you, you're projecting there.
yeah, exactly. And so I'd burnt myself out completely in that job. I knew it wasn't making me happy. And obviously, in the meantime, in these years, I'd been learning more and more about law of attraction and the principles behind how you can rewire your mind. So I was doing loads of guided meditations by Bob Proctor. Like he was my favorite. He was the main guy that got me into it. And I
Uh-huh.
still do his meditations to this day. Um, and just getting my mind to look for the things that I really wanted instead of what I didn't want. So then by doing that, I kind of started playing around with how I could change my life. Like I made it like a game in a way. I was like, there's no pressure on this. Let's just so I would wake up in the morning and just say, I'm looking forward to the exciting news coming to me today. I'm so looking forward to the exciting news coming to me today. It started
Uh-huh.
very generic. You're repeating this affirmation over and over again. And honestly, every day these magical little exciting things would pop up and it wouldn't probably mean anything to anyone else, but it was like my husband would come home with my favorite bar of chocolate or like a call back that I'd been waiting for a while would come in, and there was just these little nuances that would start happening. And so I thought, I'm actually going to use this to get something that I want. And that for me, getting something that I want took a long time for me to get. I was always in this decision paralysis. I never knew what I wanted really. So I just thought, I know I want the opera house. I want to see the opera house and the harbour bridge from my apartment. I want to be with a water view. I want to see the water. I want to be on the beach or near to the beach in a one-bedroom apartment that's bright. It's got a dishwasher. I got really, really specific with what I
Uh-huh.
wanted in an apartment. My husband laughed. He was like, you're never going to find all those things. I was like, you wait, I will. I'll find something. And so, yeah, we found our first apartment, which was a one bed with a rooftop pool overlooking the harbour bridge. We stayed in there for a little while, but I realized it wasn't by the sea. We were in the city and I couldn't deal with all the noise and the stress. So, anyway, manifested my next apartment, which was an upgrade on the actual beach our apartment was during COVID, which was great because we were just walking up and down the beach
Oh,
and
beautiful.
looking at the opera house again. So yeah, that was kind of I got into manifesting and physically saw that through the apartments that I was manifesting. Um, and so when I started looking for things that were going to give me purpose, I started working on what was going to give me my purpose. And I knew I loved helping people. I knew I loved coaching women through my instructor training. I loved that weekend. And I knew I loved law of attraction. So I was like, right, makes total sense. And it came to me one night in a spring of inspiration at like 11:30 in the night, just as I was dropping off to sleep. I was like, my initials is K, like K Ann, can. And I was like, can coaching, you can create whatever life you want for yourself. Just like came to me in a download. And I was like, that's what it is. So I started pursuing this coaching passion. And yeah, I think for a while, I was in this bit of a space where I'm like, oh, I'm a coach, so I have to just focus on the mindset. But then I'm a dance teacher, I have to just focus on the dancing. But then I was like, who am I? Because am I a dancer or am I a coach? I don't know. So it's kind of been in the last 4 months 4 to 6 months, I'd say, where I've realized that my thing is combining those two together because you can't have one without the other. I am not who I am without the other. And I know I feel the most confident, the most powerful after I've danced. And I feel like the best version of me. And so now I incorporate that into my coaching programs. We have specific movement masterclasses, confident masterclasses, and like tutorial classes along with my dancing. So the coaches, the people that I work with in Sydney get access to my like unlimited access to my dance classes whilst they're on the program with me. And I'm also now incorporating taking people through my 16-week coaching journey alongside becoming an instructor, which is like the XXL, I like to call it, version of
Ah,
my program. Like you won't get anything better than this that incorporates everything you need to get your mind out of that fear state, that anxiety state, that overthinking, self-conscious place into feeling confident in yourself, confident in your body, and believing that what you want for yourself, like that dream that we've all got in the back of our minds, is possible for you, and that you can attract that into your life using law of attraction. So it's a very like holistic program that aims to tackle everything from mind, body, and spirit.
I love it. And I really
That
love
was a
how
very
you,
long-winded response. Sorry.
no, no,
I was
it's
just
fine.
going round a circle there, man.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, I love how you took notice of I'm the dance and I love the dance and that's helped me so much. And I'm also the manifesting and I loved coaching people and how you were in that space of what am I? Am I this or am I that? And
Mm,
I really like that you mentioned this because so many people who are awakening or stepping into their power with whatever is coming in for them, I'm pretty sure they've all gone through something similar. Like, oh, wait, I can do this. Oh, wait, I can do that. Oh, wait, I can do this. And like, which way do I go? And obviously, we're all of it. But when
yeah.
we're in that space of like, what do I choose? Because we have been taught for so long to compartment, how do you say that? Compartmentalize?
Can't, yeah, no, the compartmentalize, is that?
Yes,
That.
yes. Okay, what she said. Yes, to separate everything.
Yeah,
Where and then that's when we feel there's a piece of us missing because we're
yeah,
all of it. And
we're
you were
all of
able,
it.
yeah, and you were able to combine. And I love that yours is dance and coaching and helping people because they're so different, yet they work so perfectly when
Works so
you do it.
perfect. Exactly. And I think that's such a thing. You always think, oh, for years I was like, I wanted a career. I was a project manager. That's what I was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've always been so multifaceted, and I used to really like give myself a hard time for that. I'd be like, why can't you just stick to one thing? You know, you don't need to do start all of these things all the time. And when you realize that's where the magic is, the more that you do all of the stuff that lights you up inside, do all of it. Do as much of it as you can, because when you're in that lit up position, not only are you naturally attracting all of the good things to you that are meant for you, they just start flowing in. You will get guidance along the way as to where your path is meant to go. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to follow the feel good feelings and be confident enough to do that in order to attract the life that is meant for you. And that's what I'm a lot about being in that feminine flowy energy, which is again why the dance works so well with the coaching.
Yeah, you have hit on so many amazing, perfect points. You were talking about, I was just playing. I was like being a child and I was just like imagining things and I'm doing all of the things and I'm about everything. And all of those things are so common and so like, but those are the keys to like being you
Yeah.
before you were um, taught what you were supposed to be.
Yes, exactly. You hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Before society got in the way, before all of these beliefs were programmed into your subconscious and made you think that you weren't good enough to do anything different to what you're doing.
Hmm.
Now, like before that happened, like I'm really passionate about connecting my clients back to that space where and all of them have been there at some point where they felt so confident and full of energy and didn't care what people thought. Like we've all been there, and
Yeah.
that is our natural coding. I really believe like all of the other stuff is superficial. If you can get yourself back to that place of authenticity, of that place that you felt when you were a 6-year-old child, like, and you were on top of the world and you loved singing and you loved making clothes and you loved all of these things, like, that's the true you. So the more you can try and get yourself back to there, the happier you'll become and the more aligned you'll become with what your actual purpose is.
Yeah. And doing all the things that make you happy,
All of them. Or
not
as
the job
many of
that's
them as
sucking your
possible.
blood out.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really so passionate about like the fact that people make life seem so hard. And it will feel hard if you're not doing what you're meant to be doing. The second that you are doing what you're meant to be, what feels good for you, life can be easy. It really can. It doesn't need to feel difficult. You can just let it all flow, feel the good things, ride the wave that is, ride the roller coaster of life, because there's always ups and downs, but make sure you feel into every moment. Like feel into the highs when you're on the high, feel into the high, stay there as long as you possibly can until something brings you down a little bit. But the thing is, if you're up there, you're not going to go down there straight away. If you're up there, you'll probably just go down there a little bit. So regardless, if you're focusing on those good things, you're always going to be in the highest vibration, that one that's going to bring you all of the good things. When you go down to the lows, like experience those lows, like feel those emotions, cry, put on the saddest film that you can think of and have a good old cry. Bring your friends round and have a cry party. I've done that a few times with my girlfriends. Like, I need a cry, girls. Let's come round and watch a really sad film and like just feel into all of those moments because it's all part of your journey and it's all part of what you're meant to go through. Like there's no right or wrong way. It is just the way that you go. And the more you can access that flow state, the more aligned you can be with the path that's really meant for you.
I'm laughing because I pulled a card earlier and the card was flow.
Really?
Yes, this is the third time that that word has come up. And I'm like, because like I think it came out yesterday, and then today I pulled the card and it came out as flow. And I was like, oh, I got that yesterday. And then you say, I'm like, wait a second.
You're like, what are you trying to tell me about flow? Like you're looking
Yeah.
for the deeper message now.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, it's all well aligned, but you're so in tune with your feminine and that part of just being and allowing yourself to feel all the feels, even the ugly cries, which we have been so suppressed and trying to put that big smiley face, even though we're like dying inside and not allowing ourselves to feel. And yeah, like what you're saying here is like, just express it, just feel it, just allow it to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for it's funny we should say about the allowing it to feel. Like I've always been very emotional. I'm definitely an empath. Like I really feel
Hmm.
feelings. I can cry off watching an advert on the telly. My mum's exactly the same. And um I used to be embarrassed by that. I used to feel like that made me weak. Like if a teacher would shout to me in school, I would cry, instantly cry. And it wasn't until I did a 16-week coaching program with my coach that I realized where that came from and what that trigger was. And obviously as well as just working on myself and knowing that emotion is good. Like we can't keep emotions stored in the body. If it stays there, it's going to make you ill. Like physical disease comes from storing emotions in the body. So now I'm like, let those tears flow. Like I know it's good for me to do that. It's good to let the tears flow. So I've gone from feeling really embarrassed about how much I cry to being proud that I am actually able to cry. Because a lot of people can't. It's really hard for some people to let
Oh, for
to let
sure.
go.
Yeah. Just keep
But
everything
I
in motion.
love
Yeah, because it feels like if you've been holding that cry in for whatever amount of time and then you allow it, then it's like, I don't know if I'll be able to close that faucet again.
That's what a lot of people say. Oh, I've been pushing it down for so long. I don't know. I won't stop if I start. I'm like, you will eventually.
It has
But
to come out.
if you didn't hold it down in the first place, you'd cry for 5 minutes or 2 minutes sometimes, 30
Hmm.
seconds even, and then past, gone.
Mm.
Feel, heal, move on.
Oh, like that. Amazing. So, tell us a little bit more about how people can get in touch with you, and how you help them.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, you can get in touch with me via my website. It should be in the show notes. It's just karysann.com. As well as on my Instagram page, I am the I Can Queen. So, my niche at the moment is helping empower women to find out exactly what they've been looking for, get clarity on the life that they want for themselves, and develop the confidence and clarity in that vision to actually create the reality that they want, as well as like, and when I talk confidence, this is confidence, whole body confidence, right? Not just confidence in your mind, but in your whole entire body and in your whole entire being. Um, and I've actually got a very exciting free challenge coming up in February, which is very soon after this podcast is going to be released. So you can contact me via Instagram or on my website for access to that. And it's going to be a completely free 5-day challenge to get you into that place where you feel completely confident in yourself, in your being, and in everything that you are, and really connect back to that version of yourself, reigniting that inner spark that might have gone missing a few years ago. So, yeah, I'd love to offer any listeners access to that challenge for free, as well as on my website. And I will post the link as well in the show notes, access to my free ebook on how to find your passion, purpose, and attract that life of your dreams.
Amazing. How does it get any better than that? Make sure you guys go on down on the notes, on the show notes, and get all of those links so that you can get in. It feels so aligned, and especially in this time of year when you're like getting ready to manifest and to get in touch with yourself and your power. Um, it feels so yummy. It feels really yummy.
Yummy. It does feel yummy, doesn't it?
It
That's why I
does.
like it. Feel
It's
yummy.
yummy.
And as you mentioned earlier, I might also send you that link to Turned Up on Demand. So for those people who need a bit
Yes.
of a dance, a bit of a space to let loose in your home, the Turned Up on Demand platform is honestly, I don't think you'll ever find as much value in there for such little value, and you will become a different person, I promise you. You will really learn to step into your power through that movement and feel like your own version of Beyonce. That's what I like to say. Your own version.
Awesome. Um, Tell us, is there anything else that I didn't ask or that we didn't touch that you would like to share with the audience and just let
Mm.
them, anything else?
Yeah, I would just say, just as a message to everyone, okay, if you've got a little dream that is in your heart, that has been there for a while, it is there for a reason. Please stop dampening that dream. And the more that you can pursue that and follow your light, reignite your inner light. Like, not only are you helping yourself, right, but that causes a ripple effect on the world to for other people and inspires them to follow their light and follow their dreams. So I'm really just on this mission to unlock that power that we've all got within us and that confidence to go after those dreams that have been sitting on our heart for years and we've just been pushing off because of fear. Really just go after those things and feel the fear and do it anyway, because the fear will always be there. Always, always. Even Beyonce has fear. She just moves past it, moves with it. So feel the fear and do it anyway. Chase those dreams because I really feel like this is such a pivotal time on our planet even to you I'm seeing shifts everywhere where people are questioning what they've been doing for years and where they want their life to go. And it is such an important time for us to tip that in the favor of the world. Can you imagine how happier this place would be if everyone was following their dreams and feeling full of joy and purpose every day?
Oh,
So yeah, that's my message to you.
that's beautifully said. I love it. Thank you so much for coming to my podcast and sharing your beautiful, very inspirational story. Hopefully, lots of people will start joining into the dance because it
Yeah.
feels so yummy, as I said before. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming and thank you for your time here and for
Well,
what you're
thank you
doing
for
for the
having
world.
me. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
So, oh my gosh, I just feel like I want to go dance right now. I can't wait to go into all of her spaces. So, if you like this podcast and you like the information here, I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, and share, and especially share this one if you know of anyone who has a teenager who might be struggling, especially after COVID, or who like is feeling like really inwards and does not want to go out. Having all of that trauma, especially that because just look at the link that I'm going to put down on the description here for that thing that she said. I forgot what it is called. On demand, the on demand thing. So make sure you go and grab that and grab her free ebook that she also has. So amazing. I love you. I will talk to you next time. And that's it. Ciao. Bye bye.